He's a three-time Open champion. He's won here twice. Welcome to At the Open Live, Tiger Woods. Tiger, obviously great to be back here, I imagine. Now, this morning you've been hanging out with some talented young golfers. Tell us about what's been going on and maybe how you've been able to help them, what sort of areas.
Well, Nike's trying to inspire the next generation, and that's what we're trying to do. And seeing these kids out here and having them the chance to play, the old course from the back tees. Even a kid like Ben, who grew up here, he hasn't been allowed to play from the back tees. And so for him to play 16 all the way back, especially 17 across the road now with that new tee, it was pretty cool. And he hit one off the road here, a couple bounces, ended up on the green making three. And he was telling me the story that he was here in '05. He wanted to watch Jack, finish his last Open championship. And I said, yeah, I was over there on the putting green warming up when Jack was, making that putt. And he said, yeah, I was on my dad's shoulders when you won. I'm like, oh God, how old were you? He says, oh, I think I was 8. I'm like, oh God, it's amazing how time flies. But it's cool to see these kids now who are growing up. I mean, look how athletic these kids are now. Golf's become a more athletic sport, and these kids are bigger, stronger, faster, and they hit it for miles now.
From one end of the age spectrum to another, the Champion Golfers Challenge coming up on Wednesday. Great opportunity for you to play with some of the other great champions.
Absolutely. I got a chance to play with Tom.
Tom Weiskopf?
Tom Weiskopf, yes. Nick Price, I've known forever. And obviously O'Meara is one of my good buddies. So we're gonna have a great time. I remember sitting there in the Old Course Hotel in 2000, watching it, and I hadn't won yet, and I wanted to participate in it. And it was neat to see Gene Sarazen and some of the guys that were out here playing at the time. Some have moved on, like Seve and a few others, but it's neat to be able to be a part of something like this, because the generational gap, and to see the guys go out there and have a blast. And these are people that I looked up to. These are people that I had read about growing up as kids and are part of the history of the sport. And most of them have won here too, and that makes it really special.
This is your 5th Open Championship here, isn't it? You came here as a young man. Was it love at first sight, or has it taken a while to...
No, it was love at first sight. My introduction to links golf was the Scottish Open at Carnoustie, and then coming over here and playing St. Andrews. So I got an intro probably to two of the most polar opposite golf courses, one the most tight and narrow and most difficult, to the one that's the most wide open. Two totally different styles, totally different ways of playing the game of golf. One of the neat things I found out, my first practice round here on a Monday, I happened to catch it with the tide changed. So I played all 18 holes into the wind. So I'm like, this is probably the longest short golf course I've ever played. And they said, oh yeah, you're going to drive certain holes, and 9's drivable, 10's drivable, 12's drivable. Every hole's into the wind. How do you drive these holes? But then wind switched, and I remember playing that Sunday. I believe I shot 78, and it was probably one of the best rounds I've played. It was howling a gale, with John and Constantino there playing, and I don't know how they shot those scores, but it was a great learning experience for me.
We know you stayed out of all the bunkers in the year 2000 when you won here, and you won from start to finish in 2005. But apart from things like staying out of the bunkers, what's the key, would you say, to getting around this course successfully?
Well, I think it's navigation, it's understanding how to play the holes, because of the wind changes. Bunkers that when I first came here, and I'm like, why did they put that bunker there? And then wind switches, and like, oh, that's in play. I remember playing with Bernhard one time, playing down 14, and it was just blowing a gale, and those bunkers up the left side, those 3 bunkers up the left, were now dead in play, and the out of bounds is dead in play. You can't carry the corner. And so Bernhard played down, I believe it was down 5, and played it that way, and he laid up going down the fairway, and in his book he had all the numbers from over there. And so I was like, wow, that's it. I didn't really think of doing something like that. But those are the options that this golf course presents. And so you got to get a lot of different numbers, a lot of different options. But it's the angles. Certain pins, certain winds, you just have to either take the aggressive line to have any chance of getting the ball close. People say, yeah, just swing hard, hit it left. That's not the case, because a lot of times you're blocked out with no angle.
Great to see you coming back into form at Greenbrier. How close do you feel you are to your top form, and how close are you to contending at a major championship like the Open?
I feel like I'm very close. You know, I put a lot of things together that week. We made a big baseline shift at Memorial. I didn't play well at the U.S. Open, but I was still continuing on with that shift, and you know, it's finally started coming together at Greenbrier. I contended at the Masters this year, so I'm coming to one of my favorite golf course in the world, and on a golf course I hadn't really seen it this soft yet. And I know we're supposed to get some rain here, possibly Monday and Thursday. I'm usually seeing this golf course be a little more springy. The only time I've ever seen it this soft is when we played in '98 in the Dunhill Cup. Granted, I was like in October. It was cold and it was very soft. But that's the only time I can ever remember it being this kind of receptive. We're making ball marks on these greens. That's never the case here.
Listen, have a great week. Thanks for talking to us.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.